Okay, so today I'm going to show everybody how to macro on SpongeBob Tower Defense. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to a place where you want to macro. So I want to macro on this level. So this is where I'm going to go. Hopefully nobody else comes here. Okay, so I've spawned in. And what you want to do is as soon as you spawn in, you want to pull up Tiny Task, which I will have a link in the description to download. So you're going to come over here and stand somewhere and zoom out to where you can see the whole map. And I'm going to start recording. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spam click this start wave button. And spam it a little bit extra just in case it messes up. And I'm going to go ahead and set it to 5x speed and just start placing your units. So I'm going to place one unit right there. Now, once you start your macro, once you record your macro, you do not want to move your camera. So you do not want to right click and hold and move your camera or move your character at all, because that will make it so that whenever you replay your macro, it's going to mess up. So do not use right click once you start your macro. So everything I'm doing right now will be recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and place a Sandy right there. And another thing you do not want to do is you do not want to do precision placement. So like, you don't want to get as close to the corner as you can. You kind of want to give it a little wiggle room, because if you place it really close, then it might mess up, and you don't want that. So see, I'm placing every unit a little bit out just to be safe. Okay, so I am placing my units. And remember, you do not want to right click and move your camera at all, or move your character at all, because that will mess up your macro. Okay, so I'm placing all my units. Let me go ahead and place another unit right there. Place another unit right there. And these should be all the units I want. Okay, and one thing is, if you use the F button to upgrade your characters, you want to beware that I do not believe Tiny Task records mouse scrolling. So if you scroll down, it will not record that. So make sure that the 6 right here are your main units that you're going to upgrade and that you're going to use, are your most powerful units. So for example, I have this one right here, which is not too powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that unit just so I have more powerful units here. What you're going to want to do if you want to upgrade any of these ones down here is you're going to have to click on them and click upgrade. And just make sure that whenever you're clicking, that you're clicking like in the middle of a button, because it could accidentally mess up. So just make sure that you're clicking right in the middle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here and upgrade my units. So I already have that one max. Let's just keep on upgrading. Okay, now let's say I want to upgrade these units, right? They're not on here, and I can't scroll down because it does not record it. So you're going to want to click on the unit, and then click upgrade on the actual unit. Alright, and just to make sure, I have not moved my camera at all, or my character. Because let's say you move your character forward a little bit. Then next time you replay the macro, your character's going to move forward even more. And then next time it replays, even more. Until eventually you're all the way over here and your units just aren't placing and you're losing every time. So you do not want to spin your camera at all. And you do not want to move your character at all, because that exact same movement will happen every time it replays. So let's say I move my camera a little bit to the left. Then every time I replay, it's going to keep on moving it a little bit more and more to the left. So as soon as you start a match, you want to find some place where you can see basically everywhere that you want to place units, and you just want to keep your camera there and your character there. You do not want to move your camera or character at all, because unless you move it exactly back to the place that you had it before, then it will continue to keep on moving that exact same way every time, which will in turn make it get more and more messed up. Okay, so I did not realize that I've been losing some health, but I should be good. Should be able to complete it with 55 health. So let's go ahead and keep on upgrading all my units. I'm going to go ahead and put one right there. And let's click on him and just spam upgrade him. Okay, let's go ahead and upgrade some more of our units. Alright, and right here should be enough to get me to win this level. So remember, do not move your character or camera at all. When you first start a level, I know I'm saying this a lot, but it's very important. When you start a level, do not, put your camera somewhere where you have a vantage point where you can see the whole map, and put your character somewhere where you do not have to move, where he will not move. So you can see when I spawned, I did not go to the stage right here because your character will fall once the stage despawns and turns into these paths. So in turn, that could mess up the macro. So I came right here and I stood right here because this does not change at all. Alright, so here's wave 25. And after I complete this wave, I'll show you what to do. I'm going to use the button F8 that I set to end this recording. So you may not see me go into Tiny Task and end it. Okay, so once it ends, you want to come over here and hit replay a bunch of times. And then you want to end the macro. Which, boom, I just ended the macro. So now I'm going to play the macro, and from this point on, it's not me clicking at all. See, Tiny Task is just doing it for me. Set it to 5x right there, and then start placing my units. So as you can see, Tiny Task is doing the entire thing for me. Now this would not be working if I had moved my character at all while I was recording, or if I had moved my camera at all, because that will mess it up. So once you record your macro, you want to just set it so that it does not move at all, your character or your camera. And then what you're going to want to do is in Tiny Task, you're going to want to click on Settings, and you're going to want to click on Continuous Playback. So here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the macro using a keybind. So boom, now the macro is ended. I might lose this, but that's fine. So you're going to want to go into Tiny Task, Preferences, and set Continuous Playback on, which will make the macro, which will make it so as soon as the macro ends, which it ends in you spamming the replay button, the macro will restart, which starts with you spamming the start button down here, which will create an infinite loop. As when the macro ends, you're spamming the replay button, and then when the macro starts, you're clicking the start button and you're placing all your units. So you're going to want to turn continuous playback on, and I'm going to show you what happens when you lose. So if you lose, just don't worry at all. You can just restart the macro. You don't even need to really restart the macro. You can just let it finish, and then it will press replay and restart again. Which, if you recorded the macro right, you should never see this screen. You should only win because it's doing the exact same thing every single time. It's just basically replaying that first match we did over and over again, which, as long as you won it, then you should be fine. If your computer is really slow, then you might see defeat. So you have to have a kind of fast computer where the game is not choppy. As long as the game is not choppy, then you should be fine. So see, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click replay. All right, here, let me pull up Tiny Task. I'm going to go ahead and click replay, pull up Tiny Task, click play, and boom, now the macro is taken over. So it's going to click start, and it's going to do it. It's going to replay the actions that I did when I first started. So as you can see, it's about a place right there. One of them should get through. Yep, one of them got through, which is what happened the first time I replayed it. And now I'm at 245 health out of 250. And it's just going to keep on doing those actions over and over again. Now remember, when you press F if you press F to upgrade your units, scrolling down will not work. So make sure those first 6 units you see are your main units that you're going to upgrade. Or if you want to be safe, anytime you want to upgrade a unit, click on the unit in game to upgrade it. Just don't use F at all. But I like to use F to upgrade my units, but if you want to be safe, then just do not use the F menu at all. Just continue to click in-game to upgrade your units, and that's basically it. So I'm not going to go through a whole, playthrough, but this will make us win because it's basically repeating exactly what happened the first match. And as you can see, I'm repeating this again, I have not moved my camera at all, and I have not moved my character at all. So that will not mess the macro up. It should be just fine. If you move your camera at all, it will mess up the macro because every time you play the macro, it'll, let's say you move your camera a little bit to the left. Every time you replay that macro, it's going to move it more and more and more to the left because you didn't go back. So it's just going to keep moving it more and more and more to the left until the macro just does not work anymore and you're just constantly getting a defeat over and over again. So right now I don't even have my hand on my mouse. This is the macro doing it for me. And I did this last night. I got about 50,000 bubbles over the course of the night with the 2x bubbles server boost. So normally you're going to get about 25k on average, but it will run for you all night. As long as you have continuous playback on, then it will continue to run all night. And when I woke up this morning, it was still running. So as long as you did it right, then it should just replay for you forever. So yeah, that's how you macro. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and press scroll lock to cancel the macro. Yep, and that's how you macro.